Look, if you've done any type of online research about moving to the Oklahoma City metro area, there is one suburb that is constantly popping up on the list, and that one is Edmond. Look, if you want great schools, Edmond Public Schools is A+ rated, according to niche.com. There's also another school district known as Deer Creek that's also A rated. If you want a safe place to live, Edmond has that too. If you're looking for a place where property value is normally on the rise year after year, Edmond has that as well. But all that information that I'm telling you is pretty much readily available online. So the biggest question is, why are you really here? Look, there is a difference between someone telling you about Edmond and someone showing you Edmond. And in this video, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to show you the city, okay? And I'm also gonna break it down along the way. That's why a lot of people subscribe to this channel, and this is why people trust me with their move to Oklahoma City, okay? I'm not just spouting off a bunch of facts and numbers and things of that nature. I'm actually showing you where you're going to live. Do you wanna see what downtown Edmond actually looks like? Do you wanna see what neighborhoods in this area, what do they look like? You know, do you want one that's traditional? Do you want one that maybe gives you a little bit of land? Okay? So, again, in this video, we're not just gonna talk about Edmond, we're gonna show you. Now let's get some basic things out of the way, okay? Edmond has just under 100,000 people. Logistically, it's about 15 to 25 miles north of downtown Oklahoma City. Now, if you're coming from a metropolitan area such as LA, Chicago, New York, you really don't care about how far something is. You really wanna know how long does it take to get there. So if you're gonna be living in Edmond and working in downtown Oklahoma City, your morning and afternoon commute is probably gonna be around 35 to 45 minutes. It also depends on where you live in Edmond. And in my opinion, Edmond is pretty much broken up into 5 sections, and those sections are pretty much divided by the local high schools, okay? Except for one of those areas. If you live anywhere west of Broadway, okay, in Edmond, then your kids are gonna go to Santa Fe High School. Okay, if you live anywhere east of Broadway, then your kids are going to go to Edmond Memorial. And since I brought it up, let's talk about Broadway. Broadway is pretty much the dividing line of East and West Edmond. In fact, Broadway is one of the most unique streets in all the Oklahoma City metro, because when you go into Edmond proper, it's basically a 4-lane road. However, when you go south and go towards Oklahoma City, it actually turns into what's known as the Broadway extension. And it goes from just a regular 4-lane road to all of a sudden it turns into a 6-lane highway. And it takes you straight from Edmond all the way to downtown Oklahoma City. All right, so that's East Edmond and that's West Edmond, okay? Now, if your kids live in the northern part of the city, they're gonna go to Edmond North. So pretty much anything north of 2nd or Danforth, your kids are gonna go to Edmond North. And then there's 2 other sections. There's far west Edmond, which is gonna put your kids in Deer Creek. And if you've watched my videos before, you've heard me talk about Deer Creek. Deer Creek is actually not a city, it's not a suburb. Deer Creek is a school district. And there's one more area, and that area is known as Arcadia, okay? Arcadia is gonna be in far east Edmond. In fact, it's so far east, it's gonna be east of I-35, okay? Even though Arcadia is technically its own city, it doesn't have its own school district, so those kids are going to go to Edmond Public Schools, okay? There's also another town over there called Jones. Now, Jones has its own school district. However, if you live in the west part of Jones, there's also a strong possibility that your kids are gonna go to Edmond Public Schools. Now, there is one last area, technically, I guess, and that would be downtown Edmond, which is where I'm at right now. There are restaurants, there are breweries, there are boutiques. There's a great place to eat called the Railway, which has multiple different types of restaurants. Very similar to the Collective, which is down in downtown Oklahoma City. There's also a quaint little breakfast place called Around the Corner, which is very popular to people who live in Edmond. I had breakfast there a couple of days ago, and I got all this food that I'm about to show you, and I only paid, I think, $9 for it. Another thing the city has really done well, especially here in the downtown area, is they've done a lot to conserve the local architecture. I mean, you could look at some of the bricks on some of these buildings and you just instantly know this is not a refab, okay? A lot of these buildings are well over 100 years old. And even though downtown Edmond is becoming more trendy, it still has some of your classic things. You know, it still has multiple barbershops where old guys still go. There's even a place that you can still buy appliances. It gives you a feeling of a traditional, older downtown, but again, the city's done a good job revitalizing it. So you have a good mixture of, you know, trendy, but traditional downtown all in one spot. And again, that's why it's becoming a very popular hangout spot. But it's not the only hangout spot for the Edmond crowd. Now, if you want bars, you want restaurants, you want shopping, you want activities, okay, then you gotta get to know Memorial Road, especially in between Western and May Avenue. And one of those popular areas is Chisholm Creek, which is where I am right now. Look, Memorial Road is pretty much the unofficial dividing line of Northwest Oklahoma City and Edmond. And the reason why I say unofficial is because technically Memorial Road is still in Oklahoma City, okay? However, if you live just south of here, your kids are probably gonna go to Edmond schools. And if you live just north, you're probably even going to have an Edmond address. And if you haven't figured it out yet, we're gonna focus more on the school district lines versus the city limits. Because if we just use city limits when it comes to Edmond, this whole thing would get super confusing. Why? Because just because you have an Edmond address and just because your kids go to Edmond schools doesn't mean you actually live in Edmond. Say what? 100 years ago, this was all farmland, okay? And it was way too far north for Oklahoma City Public Schools, and it was way too far north for the Oklahoma City Postal Service. So a lot of the people around here were allowed to go to Edmond schools, and a lot of them were given an Edmond address so they could get their mail, okay? In fact, that's why Deer Creek Public Schools was started. Deer Creek was started by a bunch of farmers who just wanted their kids to go to a closer school district. And even though those district lines still exist and people have an Edmond address, again, a lot of people who live around here still technically live in Oklahoma City. And that's important because of water rights, sales tax, and utilities. Again, your kids are still gonna go to Edmond Public Schools or Deer Creek Public Schools, but again, you might live in Oklahoma City. And if you're looking to buy a house, one of the first things you should do, besides call me, is you need to search by school district. Don't search by city limits, because a house can also have an Oklahoma City address, a Jones address, or an Arcadia address, okay? But they're gonna feed into Edmond or Deer Creek schools. So what's along Memorial Road? Pretty much everything you would want, okay? If you want a mall, Coral Springs Mall is down here. If you're one of those people that need a super Target, one of those are gonna be down here. If you're looking for your Dick's Sporting Goods, your Sam's, your Costco, your Super Walmarts, your Best Buys, your At Homes, pretty much everything that you would need is gonna be down here. If you're looking for bars, you're looking for restaurants, they're gonna be down this way. In fact, if I put a pin at the Coral Springs Mall and made a circle that's about a 2-mile radius, I would probably find around 150, 200 restaurants down here. In fact, in Chisholm Creek, there has to be at least 20 restaurants down here. As far as activities, you're gonna have Top Golf. You're gonna have Main Events, which if you're not familiar with that place, it's kind of like Dave & Buster's. You're gonna have escape rooms. In fact, they even have a place that you can grab a beer with your dog. It's a pub for pet owners. And here's the thing about Edmond. People around here really care about their pets, okay? In fact, there's a spot in Northwest Edmond called Three Dog Bakery, and they actually make custom baked treats for your dogs. Now, it just kind of goes to show you how people feel about their pets around here, okay? There's probably 3 times as many veterinarian offices than there are Starbucks, and people around here love their Starbucks. And even though there's a lot to do for adults down here, it's still kid friendly, which is nice, okay? It's nice to be able to take your kids someplace where, you know, you can get them some ice cream. However, you can sit outside with your wife and grab a glass of wine, okay? Again, as a husband and as a father, it's nice to have places like that. And if you're moving here from out of state, this is gonna be one of those places that once you see it, you're gonna take a deep breath and go, okay, this place is not as podunk as I thought it was gonna be, okay? I think we're gonna be all right. Look, Oklahoma City is a major city. I've said it so many times in my other videos, and Edmond is a major suburb. Now, another popular spot is going to be 2nd and Bryant, which is going to be in East Edmond. And when you get down here, you're going to have plenty of restaurants. You know, you're going to have your Cava, you're going to have your Torchy's, your Five Guys, you know, your Qdobas, your Chick-fil-A's, your Cane's. A lot of national brands are going to be down this way, but you're also going to have some local spots. The Bricktown Brewery has a location down here. You're also gonna have Neighborhood Jam, which is gonna be about a 1/4 mile east of here. And I'm gonna tell you, man, you know, my wife introduced me to Neighborhood Jam a couple of months ago, and that place hits pretty hard. I love breakfast places, and Neighborhood Jam, man, is, whoo, it's pretty legit. You know, as far as shopping, when you get down here, you know, it's going to have a lot of your day-to-day shopping. There is a neighborhood market. There's also another super Target, which is, you know, important for a lot of people. And if you keep going east from 2nd and Bryant, you'll eventually hit I-35. And when you get to the I-35 area, you have another super Walmart. You'll have another Sam's Club. You're gonna have more restaurants that are gonna be over that way. So if you're gonna live in the, you know, Jones, Arcadia area, if you're gonna live in Northeast Edmond, this is gonna be a popular spot for you. And just south of here, you're gonna have Spring Creek, which Spring Creek is gonna have more boutique shopping. I mean, down there, you're gonna have your White House Black Markets. You're gonna have your Kendra Scotts. You're gonna have your Ann Taylor Lofts. And the things at Spring Creek are kind of what you expect from a suburb such as Edmond, you know? With that being said, I mean, there's still economical places up this way. You know, like I said, there's an Old Navy, there's a Burlington. You know, this whole area just kind of has enough going on where you feel like you don't have to run to that, you know, Penn and Memorial, Quail Springs Mall area. You have options if you're in East Edmond. Go north of here, you're gonna run into, you know, more developments. You're gonna have more restaurants, especially going up near Covell and I-35, more grocery stores. There's a place called Showbiz, which is a movie theater and a bowling alley. I mean, there's expansion all over Edmond. And if you go west, the west side of Edmond is exploding just as much. You know, especially in that Mitch Park area where you're gonna have, you know, the uptown markets. You're gonna have more restaurants over there, more shopping. It doesn't really make a difference, you know, what side of Edmond you're gonna be on. You know, you're gonna have access to quite a bit. And we also can't forget about Broadway, which we've talked about earlier in this video. And Broadway is pretty much gonna have, you know, restaurants and shopping all the way from 33rd, which is pretty much when you enter Edmond proper, all the way to downtown. And on Broadway, you know, you're definitely gonna have, you know, a combination, again, of national chains and also a lot of local restaurants that have been there for years. Edmond also has a ton of outdoor space, okay? In fact, I'm in Mitch Park right now, which is gonna be in West Edmond. And just like many other parks, Mitch Park has playground equipment, workout equipment, softball fields, walking trails, disc golf, a lot of outdoor space. And that's the big thing about Edmond. Edmond is really trying to push for people to be more active. Mitch Park also has a YMCA with an indoor water slide in it. It also has a great senior center, okay? A lot of activities for seniors in this area. And if you're in East Edmond, there's also gonna be Hafer Park. It's gonna have walking trails, it's gonna have a playground, it's going to have an outdoor water park, which is super popular in the Edmond area. In fact, it is extremely nice for a city-owned water park. The city has also done a wonderful job redoing Kicking Bird Golf Course. The practice facility there is absolutely stunning. It's pretty much like a country club. They redid the clubhouse as well. My daughter and I had breakfast there last year. It's a great facility. They also redid the tennis and pickleball courts, okay? Pickleball is a big thing here in Oklahoma. So if you're someone that's into tennis and pickleball, Kicking Bird, which again is gonna be in East Edmond, absolutely fantastic facility. And if you're in that Northwest Oklahoma City area near Memorial, there's also gonna be Martin's Nature Park, which is a fantastic place to take your kids. It's more walking trails, but it's pretty much a wildlife preserve. So if you go at the right time of day, you can catch some deer. I've taken my daughters there and we've seen a couple of deer walk by. And of course you're gonna have Lake Arcadia. There you're gonna have boating, fishing, tubing. There's even a spot where you can camp or rent out an area and have a cookout, okay? Look, the people here in Edmond want their residents to be active. And if live music is your thing, the UCO Jazz Lab right behind me has been around for years, and it is a popular spot here in Edmond. And next to the UCO Jazz Lab is a very popular park here in Edmond. And next to the park is the Edmond History Museum, which has a lot of cool facts, but it's not very big, so it's great for kids. And of course, Edmond is a part of historic Route 66, and you can check out historic places such as the Big Red Barn or Pop's Diner in Arcadia. But one of the most important stops on Route 66 is the Territorial School. Built in 1889, it is the state's very first public school, meaning that education's been important in Edmond even before statehood. Now let's talk about education, okay? As I said when I started this video, Edmond Public Schools is going to be A+ rated according to niche.com. Deer Creek is going to be A rated. Both school districts are going to score well above the state average when it comes to testing, okay? In fact, high school kids in Edmond, when they take the SAT, their average score is a 1240, which is 200 points above the national average. Kids in Deer Creek, they're gonna score a 1270, okay? Very competitive, and the people in this area take academics seriously, which is why a lot of people are trying to move in this area. It's because of the school systems. Now, as far as athletics, football is king in Oklahoma, and Edmond Santa Fe has made some deep runs in the playoffs. In fact, they've lost in the state championship games a few times. Same thing with Deer Creek. Deer Creek has made some super deep runs in the playoffs, okay? Last year they lost in the semifinals. A couple years ago they lost in the state championship, okay? Edmond North, they won state in both boys and girls basketball in 2023. Look, sports in this area is extremely competitive, all right? And it doesn't make a difference if it's tennis, golf, pom, cheer, cross country. Kids that live in the Edmond area are going to hoist banners, okay? Somebody in this area is gonna win a state championship every year in something, all right? Again, this area is extremely competitive. And if you don't want to send your kids to a public school in this area, then the two most popular choices for private schools in the Edmond area is going to be Crossings, which is going to be more in West Edmond. And then you're going to have OCS, which is going to be more for the people in Eastern Edmond. I've heard nothing but good things about people who send their kids to OCS, and I've heard nothing but good things about people who send their kids to Crossings. And believe it or not, Edmond also has two colleges, okay? There's the University of Central Oklahoma, which I believe is the third biggest college in Oklahoma, okay? Right behind OSU and the University of Oklahoma. And then you're gonna have Oklahoma Christian University, which is a private four-year college. What about traffic? Look, if you're coming from Edmond, there is going to be a little bit of traffic going towards downtown. However, it's not going to be like it is in LA, New York, Chicago, or anything of that nature. In fact, I'm going to show you some video right now. This is, coming from Deer Creek or West Edmond at 7:30 in the morning. As someone that grew up in California, there's no way in hell that I would be 15 miles from downtown San Francisco and that's what traffic would look like. There's no way. There's no way at 7:35 in the morning. So I actually got kind of curious. So I jumped into traffic at 7:40 just because I wanted to know how bad it would be. And I'm going to be honest with you, I have been going a steady 65 miles per hour since I got a car. And again, this is southbound going towards downtown. So people who live in that West Edmond area, Deer Creek area, this is their commute to downtown. And there's pretty much no traffic. I'm getting off on Western Avenue and it is 7:57. So I think I started driving at around 7:42. I left the that Portland / Memorial area, and it took me 15 minutes to get down here. Now, there's two other ways that you can get out of Edmond. One is going to be down the Broadway extension, which we talked about earlier, and the other one is going to be I-35. So if you are in that Jones Arcadia area, if you want to get out of Edmond, you're probably going to take I-35. Now, an accident, construction, those things will still slow you down. Now, the Broadway extension or I-35, this morning, it might have been worse. For the people who are in that crowd, it might have taken them a little longer to get to downtown. So if you live in Edmond and you work in downtown Oklahoma City, you could probably leave, around 7:20, 7:25 every morning, and you're going to be pretty close to being there, if not early, right on time. And again, it just depends on how far you live in Deer Creek or how far you live in Edmond, okay? Because if you live out by Oak Tree, you might want to give yourself an extra 5 to 7 minutes. But if you just live in, not too far from I-35 or wherever, it's not going to take you that long to get to downtown Oklahoma City. Every morning's different, okay? But the commute in this area is not as bad as other metropolitan areas. Video doesn't lie. What about safety? Look, according to crimegrade.org, Edmond has an A+ rating. In fact, it is in the 93rd percentile of the most safest places to live in America. Okay, now that doesn't mean crime doesn't happen around here, especially things like petty theft. Okay, look, if you're living in a place that is middle class / upper middle class, things are gonna happen. You know what I mean? You might have an Amazon package stolen from your front porch, every 10 years. If you're a person that leaves their car doors unlocked and parks their car outside at night, again, it's a good chance that someone's gonna rob you. It may not happen tonight, it may not happen tomorrow, it may not happen this year, but you know, there's a good chance at some point someone's gonna jiggle on your car door and take what you got inside. And when you live in a place like this, those kind of crimes do happen. As far as violent crimes, they're extremely rare. In fact, Edmond can go, you know, 2-3 years without a single homicide. And for a place that has almost 100,000 people, that's pretty safe. Now, what about housing? Look, according to Zillow.com, the average home price in Edmond is going to be around $345,000, okay? Which is 1.3% higher than what it was last year. So despite interest rates, home prices in Edmond keep going up, all right? So what are you really getting for that price in regards of, let's say, new construction? I've sold multiple houses this year in that price point. And you're probably gonna get a house that's around 1,800 to 2,100 square feet, and it's probably gonna have 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, maybe even 2 bath and a half. And if you want to see homes, the best thing you can do is just click on my page and look at my model home tours. I have done dozens of houses in the Deer Creek, Edmond area over the past 9 months, okay? If you're looking for a starter home, I did one in the Grove that's just over $300,000, okay? And the Grove is going to be, half of it's gonna be in West Edmond and the other half is gonna be in Deer Creek. I also did one in Knox Farms. Knox Farms, I think that house was just about $350,000. If you want a house with a little bit more land, a good place to go is Woodland Park in that Jones Arcadia area. I did one with Beacon Homes. I also did one in High Garden. High Garden, there's half-acre, quarter-acre lots over there. In fact, I have some clients that have a house under contract in High Garden. And if you don't see something that you like, just pick up the phone and call me. Look, most of my clients are out of state, okay? And just text me or email me and say, hey, Russell, this is what I'm looking for, okay? And a lot of times, once I sit down at my desk, within an hour or two, I'm gonna send you back an email and I'm gonna say, I think these homes are going to fit. I've had multiple clients that are relocating here because of jobs or because of family, and they have flown in, looked at those homes, said, this is exactly what I'm looking for, put an offer on a house, get it under contract, and then they fly right back out. While you're at home, packing everything up, I'm here in Oklahoma. I'm out here handling all the home inspections, and I'm making sure that your house is gonna be ready for when you get here. Now, is one section of Edmond that we've talked about better than the other? And then, no, look, they all have their pluses, they all have their minuses. You know, for example, if you want land, you're probably gonna wanna go to North Deer Creek, or you're gonna wanna go to North Edmond, or you're gonna wanna go to that Jones Arcadia area. If you're looking for a starter home, again, you know, Deer Creek, West Edmond, those are probably gonna be your best bets. If you're looking for a house that's more classical, maybe something that was built in the 50s, 60s, and 70s that have been remodeled, if that's what you're looking for, then Edmond has a historic area, okay? No matter what you're looking for, Edmond's gonna have it. And I can pretty much point you in the right direction. Heck, if you want $1 million home on a golf course community, I can tell you where it's at. If you're in Deer Creek, it's gonna be Gaillardia Golf and Country Club. West Edmond, it's gonna be Rose Creek. If you're in North Edmond, it's gonna be Oak Tree, which is going to host the 2027 Senior US Open. It also hosted the 1988 PGA Championship, so Oak Tree's legit. If you're in East Edmond, it's going to be Edmond Golf and Country Club. They're also building luxury homes and apartments just west of downtown. And should you rent or should you buy? Look, if you're gonna be in Edmond for more than 2 years, I would probably lean more towards buying, especially if you're going to be renting a house. Look, renting a house in Edmond is not the cheapest thing in the world to do. I mean, you're probably looking somewhere between $1,800 and $3,500. On average, for a nice house in a nice neighborhood, you're probably looking around $2,600, $2,700. And if you're coming from a place where you've had some equity in a property, you can easily buy a house for $350,000, $400,000, and your mortgage is gonna be very close to that rent. But no matter what you're looking for, just call or just text. In fact, a lot of people are caught off guard because I'm the one that actually answers the phone. Again, I'm originally from California, so I was in your position 20 years ago, okay? So all I'm trying to do is pay it forward, okay? And if I can help you in any way, I want to do that. So no matter if you're just kind of on the fence or if you are, already committed to a house or whatever the case may be, if you just need to talk to someone about making this move, just call me. And last but not least, what about the people of Edmond? My wife's from Edmond, so I want to make sure I get this right. Look, I lived in Edmond my first 3 years after I got married. And then we moved to Deer Creek. So a majority of the people that I hang out with and my kids hang out with are going to be Edmondites for the most part. Look, with a median income that is $35,000 higher than the state average, Edmond is exactly what you probably think it is. Like I said to open this video, majority of people in Edmond are looking for great schools, property value, and they're looking for safety. And that's what people are after. They just want the best life that they can get. As far as diversity, look, depending on what you look at online, Edmond is somewhere between 65 to 75% white, okay? Which means 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4 people are gonna be minorities. So if you're a person of color like myself, there's never been a point when I've been in this area that I felt alone. You know what I mean? As far as politics, Oklahoma is a red state. And one of the big reasons why it's gonna be a red state is because of rural Oklahoma. Rural Oklahoma is always gonna push the needle that direction. Again, the metro is pretty purple. And even the people around here that vote Republican, you are gonna have some, far right-wing people here. Those people do exist in Edmond. So I don't want to make it seem like they don't, but there are a lot of people who are Republicans that I would say they vote Republican more or less for their jobs. If you're an aeronautical, then that's going to be connected to the military. You're going to vote conservative. If you're into oil and natural gas, you're going to vote Republican. It doesn't mean they're not tolerant. It doesn't mean they're not open-minded. Don't lump everyone into one basket just because they're Republican. Do people in Edmond consider themselves deeply religious? I mean, I would say a majority of people that live in Edmond are going to consider themselves religious. It doesn't mean the people that live around here are extreme holy rollers. The big denominations in Oklahoma are going to be Southern Baptist, shocker. Church of Christ is pretty popular here, non-denominational, and there are, because of a lot of out-of-state people, there are a lot more Catholics in Oklahoma than people might realize. And the good thing about living in a place that has 100,000 people, no matter what you're into or the type of person that you like to hang out with, you can find them here. You know what I mean? Edmond's gonna have everything that you expect it's gonna have as far as people. If you're someone that's, tattooed and dyes your hair different colors, you're gonna find like-minded people around here. If you are someone that is, into yoga, Pilates, you're gonna find like-minded people. If you wanna be, really wrapped up into your church, you're gonna find that. If you want people that are gonna be, if you like hanging around, other soccer moms or softball moms, you're gonna find a solid group of people. No matter, again, 100,000 people, you're gonna find your niche by moving here, whether it's your religion, whether it's your activities, whether it's your lifestyle, no matter what you're into, you're gonna find people that are gonna fit. But I would say a majority of people in Edmond are extremely cool, and it's a great place to be. So in conclusion, look, when it comes to Edmond, Edmond is what you want it to be, whatever you're after, you're gonna find it here. Again, you want great schools, Edmond has it. You want property value, Edmond's probably gonna give that to you. If you want safety, again, it's a pretty safe place to live. Okay, look, and if you're thinking about moving to the Oklahoma City metro area, especially Edmond, give me a call. shoot me a text. If not, I'll see you on the next video.